What is up, everybody? I'm Dave LaFave, and you are watching Prime Time Carolina. As always, before we get started, I just want to say thank you to any new subscribers to the channel. We appreciate you, and anybody who wants to help us out by doing so, please go ahead and do so. Hit that subscribe. Our goal is to hit 350 subscribers by the time the Panthers kick off week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. But the reason we're here today is to talk about CJ Henderson, because the word on the street is CJ Henderson is having an awesome training camp, which is great news for the Carolina Panthers and Carolina Panthers fans, because there is some pressure for this guy to produce, as the Panthers traded a third-round pick and tight end Dan Arnold to bring him in last year. I believe it was going into week 3 or 4 of the season. I don't quite remember exactly when, but the Panthers were high on this guy. They made it clear then that they were high on him. They said at the time that he could have been their draft pick in the year 2020 instead of Derek Brown. Basically, it came down to one of those two guys, and they decided to go with Derek Brown. So I guess somewhere there's an alternate universe where the Panthers took him 7th overall instead of Derek Brown. Fortunately for us here in this universe, the Panthers were able to get him for a third-round pick and Dan Arnold. So good for us. That's a win for us. There's pressure for this guy to produce. Obviously, when you trade for a third-round pick, that's a fairly high draft pick. So if you give that away for a player, you expect him to produce and do something. Last year was kind of rocky for him, but that's in the past. The word on the street is he's having a good camp and that he's growing into himself here with the Carolina Panthers. When he came in last year after his time with the Jaguars, he looked pretty shook. He looked like he'd had a hard road in the NFL and that he didn't feel comfortable. But in his interviews here with the team this offseason, and from what he said about Steve Wilks and the secondary that he's surrounded by and the defense that he's surrounded by, it seems like he is becoming a guy who's a lot more comfortable, which is really good news for the Panthers. Because if you can get J.C. Horn on one side and then C.J. Henderson on the other side, and they're both playing to their full ability, that's 2 top 10 picks you have at corner. You have the potential to have one of, if not the best corner duo in the league, assuming they both grow into the players that they can be. Not to mention Jeremy Chin in the back, Brian Burns coming off the edge. That's a setup for a great defense. So hopefully it'll pan out for CJ Henderson. Love to hear that he's doing great things. I think I pulled up a little bit of a highlight of him here at training camp. It's kind of difficult to find clips at training camp, but that's him breaking up a pass intended for Robbie Anderson. So he makes a nice little play on the ball. We'll take it. It shows that he's, doing something. The reports aren't lies that he's making little plays here and there. That's from Joe Person. I believe he's with the Charlotte Observer. But anyway, great news to hear that CJ Henderson is growing into his own and becoming the player he could be, because he has a ton of potential. Again, top 10 pick in the 2020 NFL draft, and the Panthers might have gotten a steal, even though last year didn't seem to go according to plan for anybody with him. But it's good to see that he's happy, healthy, and becoming the best him he can be. I love to see it. You love to see it. Go Panthers. Keep pounding. If you're still here, please hit the like and subscribe. Share with a friend. Peace out, guys. Keep pounding.